So welcome everyone for this session. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I hope you can hear us properly. We are currently 20 participants, but I hope that we will be more very soon. And with no further ado, I'll start presenting today's seminar on eTwinning in TTI curriculum, practice and challenges. Today's session is mainly to talk about the modules, the activities that the TTI initiative, the Teacher Training Initiative has available, and we will focus on integrating eTwinning in TTI curriculum. And for that, I invited Frederic to be here with us today from Belgium and to share his experience. But also, apart from Frederic, if you have some experiences to share, we would like to hear from you as well. Please feel free to interact in the chat and share with us your ideas, your thoughts, your questions, your challenges that we will try to address as much as possible on at the end of this seminar. We are here today because we are all part of this huge community of eTwinning. eTwinning is a professional community of teachers. This picture shows the connections between eTwinning teachers. This was done actually a few years ago. I cannot imagine how would this picture be today. Actually, much brighter, I would say. But here you can see the connections among all the teachers that are involved in this community. We are currently 44 countries, as you may know, and we've been reaching out. We have been reaching, sorry, a very high numbers. Mainly this year, we overcome the 700,000 registered users. We have also overcome the 200,000 registered schools. And this community is growing and constantly growing. And we cannot actually foresee what is going to happen tomorrow or in 5 years. But one thing is true, is that it's a community of teachers, the biggest community of teachers in Europe, and it's constantly growing. That's the main fact. And why are the teacher training institutes interested in eTwinning? And I can see, actually, I was last week in an event, educational event, with other teacher training institutes involved. And in the discussion, eTwinning was always being brought up as a good example of how to apply collaborative learning, project-based learning, the use of technology for educational purposes, pedagogical use of technology, soft skills promotion, critical thinking. Basically, eTwinning was brought technology brought up in the discussions as the place to promote this 21st centuries 21st century learning skills, and this way providing the context and the space for teachers and student teachers to be up to date on this changing world. So if you are, I'm not sure how many of you are already into the TTI initiative. If you have nothing or so far, if you don't have any project, if you don't have any action plan on the TTI initiative, well, first of all, you need to contact your national support service or partner support agency and start an initial contact. And then you need to agree on some activities, on a plan of activities, and then you need to join the eTwinning platform. But for that, your national support service, and I can see some national support services and PSA here, they are there to support you and to assist you throughout this process. The main point here is that there is a commitment from the national support services and PSAs and you on your side, on your institute. There must be a commitment where the expectations are set, there are rules of engagement defined, and there is a conversation going on, ongoing conversation basically. And there are activities planned. These are the two types of activities that are promoted in the teacher training initiative. The first activity is the inclusion of or introduction of eTwinning in the TTI curriculum to the student teachers. There are several ways of doing this by using eTwinning actors who can provide direct training to student teachers. The other way is by using TTI eTwinners that are trained by the NSS, PSA, or the CSS and who would act as multipliers at local level, and also by involving student teachers and encouraging them to carry out activities among them. This is the first activity, and this is the activity that we are going to focus today. There is another activity, which is we call activity 2, that has two models, which is the creation of small eTwinning collaborative projects among student teachers, which we are not going to enter into detail today. We are going to have a dedicated seminar for this one on the 28th of November. So if you are interested in it, please pay attention to the emails that we send and the eTwinning TTI group so that we can share with you the news on the date and the timing. Okay, so as I was saying, today we will focus on how can a TTI include an introduction to eTwinning in the curriculum. How can this be done? And for that, we have some examples. We have examples from Finland, we have examples from Italy, and I actually don't know if Andrea from Italy is here today or not, but there are several examples and you can share your experiences also in the TTI group. But for today, we invited Frederic from Belgium. He's a teacher trainer at House University of Applied Sciences in Bruges, and he's actually involved in a TTI initiative for some time now, right, Frederic?
Yes.
And I'm actually looking forward to hear his experience. We are not expecting like to see like the perfect scenario. We would like to also to see the challenges and but to see how can this be done. This can be done. How can it be done? So, Frederic, the floor is yours. And again, thank you for accepting the invitation for being here today with us.
Thank you for your introduction, Rita. So I'm a teacher trainer in HOWEST, in HOWEST University of Applied Sciences in Bruges in Belgium. And I've been teaching there for about 6 years. I teach geography in teacher education. I'm also international coordinator. From the time I was involved in teacher training, I have been busy with international projects. But also before, when I was a teacher in secondary education, my interests in doing an international project was triggering me. So, but I really started it when I was working in teacher education, and as I am an international coordinator, it's really part of my job. So eTwinning is really something I can apply in my job as an international coordinator. And I think eTwinning is really a very good way to integrate internationalization in your teacher training. Um, um, and there's a low threshold, so you can do internationalization at home by using eTwinning. Students don't have to go abroad. They don't have to study or do traineeship abroad. They can just do it at home when they do eTwinning projects. So what have I already done so far? So in 2014, there was a project that was called 4 Pics 1 Word. It originated in Tallinn in Estonia, because in 2014 I attended a professional development workshop in Tallinn in Estonia about coding, and I met some very interesting colleagues there, mainly from secondary education, and we decided to establish an eTwinning project, and it was about making apps. So our students made an app, and the other pupils from the different countries also made apps, and we shared them to each other. You will see some footage of this in one of the next slides. Then we had ICT in the classroom in 2015. That was a collaboration with Denmark and Norway, integrating ICT apps, digital tools in our teacher training. Then we have the project called DLab, Digital Learning Across Boundaries. We are busy with it since 2016, and it's really a very big project, and eTwinning is actually part of it. It is integrated in a bigger KA2 Plus Erasmus project. We have also done a national eTwinning project called Start to Teach. That is a collaboration with a teacher training in Belgium. And it's actually, we did it last year, and it was about the first experiences of student teachers in teaching. So they share it on a TwinSpace, and it was quite successful. So you can also do a national eTwinning project. Actually, currently there is a small eTwinning project going on. It's called Enhancing Technology in Teacher Education with UCN from Denmark, University College of Northern Denmark. And there we will also focus on apps and digital tools in using in the first traineeships of the students. So that has just been started. But during the last years, I've also been thinking about how can we really integrate eTwinning in the curriculum. So I have done a number of projects, a number of small projects, and DLab is the biggest project with a lot of partners, and there's also mobility involved. But I've also been thinking about how can we integrate eTwinning in our curriculum, in our teacher education. Well, actually, we have had an introduction for our first year students, and there were people from the National Support Service from Belgium who gave the eTwinning introduction. And the students also used a demo. There was a demo running where they had to register, where they had to think of where they had to look up for inspiration. They had to look up different projects, existing projects, and then they had to think about how can we establish a project ourselves. So that was a basic introduction, let's say, to eTwinning for our first year students. And we had invited people from the National Support Service and also some teachers from secondary education who had experience with eTwinning. So we invited them, and they came and demonstrated what they had been doing. Then we also have a module since last year. It's called project-based learning. It's for our third year students. So the students who are in their last year of their teacher training, because in West, in our university college, the teacher training only lasts 3 years. So in their third year, they graduate. And in the first half of the year, they have a module called project-based learning. So they don't have their specific subjects anymore. They do project work. And I thought, why not integrate eTwinning there? Because they are already working on projects, and we can really involve eTwinning in it. They can just do an eTwinning project in a school, in a secondary school. So I contacted one of the teachers in Flanders who is really involved in eTwinning for a lot of time, a lot of years, and who has done some great projects. I contacted him and I asked him, would you like to help our students creating an eTwinning project, or maybe support let the students support you in doing your work in eTwinning. And he was really very enthusiastic about it. His name is Joris van Meerhagen from Don Bosco College in Kortrijk. So our students are now in the school, and they help the teacher. And with another teacher, they establish a new eTwinning project. Um, they meet the challenges that there are there. For example, with the collaboration with the partners from the different countries, the making up of a planning. So they experience the eTwinning project as it is. So I think that's very interesting. Then we also have the DLab projects, and some of our students are involved in the DLab project for 1 full year, and they also use the eTwinning platform. So I give an introduction to them, and they are registered as student teachers, and they have to put materials on the TwinSpace themselves. They have to use the forum. So in this way, they also learn how to use the platform. But this is only a limited number of students who are involved in DLab. In the project-based learning module, it's already a bigger number of students. And when we give our introduction to the first year students, it's all our first year students, so that's quite a big group. We also have a seminar for our second year students, and it's called didactic workshops. So it's cross-curricular. It's not really related to a specific subject. And our students also had an eTwinning session there. So we invited some people from NSS and also a teacher from secondary school who has experience in eTwinning and who also demonstrates what he and she or she has been doing. Give some really examples from what's really going on. And then I also had some small projects. I have told you about it earlier. Okay, maybe we can move to the next slide. Yes, so here you can see some examples of the first project I was talking about, 4 pics 1 word. So this is what our students have created. So you see 4 images, and then the other students from the other countries have to guess what it is, what word it is. And the students from the other countries made a similar app. You can see what it's about on the TwinSpace, so you can see the link there, and also the learning. So our students used learning apps to create the app. So learning apps is actually a very interesting tool because you have already got templates of apps, and you just have to put content to it. So that's what our students have used in the project 4 pics 1 word. Okay, next slide. So this is the second small project, ICT in the classroom. That was a collaboration with Oswald University College, and our students worked together with the teacher trainees from Oswald University College in Norway. We exchanged apps and web tools, good practices of ICT in the classroom, and there on the screen you can see a Skype meeting between the students. So actually collaboration and online meetings are also quite important in eTwinning, and that's what we also did with our students when they were working on this project. Okay, next one. DLab, Digital Learning Across Boundaries, is the big KA2 Erasmus Plus project I've just been talking about. It's about digital learning, it's about breaking boundaries. Each year had a different team. For example, in the first year we focused on technology outdoors. in the second year STEM to STEAM, and in the last year of our of DLab 1, we focused on CLIL, so language teaching. And now in our second project of DLab, so this is actually the sequel, we focus on change makers. Pupils are going pupils and students are going to break boundaries. And in our first year, it's about breaking physical boundaries. It's about getting more on the move, getting more outdoors, because in Belgium, but I don't think it's not in Belgium alone, we have the problem that pupils don't move enough, don't have enough physical exercise during school hours. So that will be the focus of our DLab 2 project in year 1, which is this year. We have a lot of data, a lot of photos, materials, things that the pupils create, and we put all these things also on eTwinning. So eTwinning is in DLab is the platform to share our materials. But we also use other platforms, other tools in DLab, for example, Padlet. We also have a website which is very attractive, but we have a lot of people working on it in the different countries. You can check what we have done on the website dlaberasmus.eu. So it is one big learning community with schools from Norway, Denmark, Belgium, UK, and Spain. And we have primary schools, we have secondary schools, we have universities, university colleges, and everyone is actually working on the same level, and that is really great. So we have students, teachers, and lecturers working in one big learning community. And in this project, every year we have 3 international project days where the projects that we have developed during the meetings in the different countries, where the projects are really carried out in the classrooms with the pupils. And there's a lot of exchange and collaboration, and we use TweetBeam, which is actually a screen that collects all the tweets, and that's a very interesting tool if you want to have some live collaboration, some live view of what's going on in your project in another country, so you can see what's going on in the different countries by setting up the TweetBeam. So that's maybe a tool you can remember. Okay, so that was DLab. Next slide. Some impressions from DLab. So you can see some of our students on the beach in Flanders working with the app Roll World. Then you have also some images from what we have done in Northampton. Well, this just gives an impression. Okay, yes, next slide. I've also mentioned the national eTwinning project. I think it was a really interesting team because our students shared experiences about their first teaching. So in our teacher training, our students first have to do a micro teaching, which is actually a teaching for their own group of students, just to get the feeling of what it is to be in front of a classroom, to prepare a lesson, to carry it out, and then they get feedback from their own group of students and also from us, from the lecturers. And that's also the micro teaching is also being shared in this project. So we have been talking about this among each other. How is it in your teacher training? And the students also gave feedback on each other's micro teaching. So the students from the University College in Limburg, in the other side of Flanders, gave feedback on our students and the other way around. And then when they actually got in the classroom, because in our first year they also already have to teach in a real classroom situation, then they shared each other's lesson preparation. They gave feedback on each other's lesson preparations, and they shared experiences, the experience about the actual teaching. Okay, it was only for the geography and mathematics students. We worked with a limited group because we thought that was the best way of working, and sometimes it's better to start small than to work with bigger groups. That's the project. So the slide you can see now is about the project of the that is really going on now, currently going on. We have just started it, and you can see on the right side you can see the video introductions of the students. The students presented themselves to each other. The students from West University College and students from UCN, University College of Northern Denmark. These videos are collected on the TwinSpace, as you can see. And on the left-hand side, you can see one of our students working with Book Creator, which is an app that you can use to make ebooks. And they had the task to make a classification of clouds, of different kinds of clouds in the geography lesson. And this is one of our students working on it. And we have put their results, so their ebooks, we have also put them on the TwinSpace. So, and we are really looking forward to see the work of the Danish students and to develop the project further on. Okay. Integrating eTwinning in the curriculum. I resume a bit what I have already been talking about. So we have a seminar for our first year students, introduction to eTwinning, for a big group of students, just to get them to know eTwinning, the basics of eTwinning. Then we have the didactic workshops, eTwinning for our second year students. And you can see some pictures of the session that was going on last year. So there was a teacher who really talked about his project that he had carried out. It was called To Be or Not to Be, a project about bees. And it was very interesting. He was talking about it to our students. It was about the life of bees in the different countries, and also they sent honey to each other, and they tasted the honey from the different countries. That was one thing they did in that project. So our students were quite interested and fascinated by it. And then at the end of this session, they had to think about an own project. They had to brainstorm about what could we do, what could be an idea to do as a student teacher or as a teacher later in my profession. Then we have the module project-based learning, the module for our third year students, and they have to develop an eTwinning project in a secondary school or support an existing eTwinning project. This is new. So the last thing, the project-based learning module, this is the first time this year that we integrate eTwinning in it. So I'm very curious what the outcome will be, but so far so good. I would say the collaboration with the school is going very well, and our students are up to now. They are doing quite good work. So yeah, so that's about it, I think. So I'm happy to have shared my examples with you, and maybe they will give you inspiration to start to do a similar thing. And if you have questions, you can ask me, of course.
Thank you so much, Frederick. Yes, actually, now it's the moment for questions and answers. And also, if you have other examples that you would like to share, maybe I heard that Sabine would maybe have something to share with us. Is that true, Sabine, from Germany? I'm happy to give the microphone if you have one. I see Sabine is typing. While they are typing, Frederick, maybe I can ask you something. I would like to, well, we can see that you started some time ago, um, but we know that here in this session we have maybe some TTIs that are just starting. So basically, what you have presented us today is a work done along 5 years, and so it's a consolidated work, consolidated approach. What would be first of all? What was first of all your biggest challenge that you have to overcome, and how did you do it? And the second question I would have for you is, if you would like to, if you had to give an advice for the TTIs that are just starting, what would you suggest in this case of integrating eTwinning in the TTI curriculum? Sorry, it was two questions, not just one.
Yeah. Well, biggest challenge. Well, it is well, to get the students working on it is a big challenge because you don't always have the time to do that in your lessons, and then you have to make good arrangements with your students, to that they have to do what they have to do in the project. So I would give the advice, to really work on it in your lessons. So while you are with the students, that you can support them and not give it as only as a homework or as a task that they have to do extra. So that's an advice I can give you. Then also, the collaboration with the partners. It's of course interesting if you know the partners well, if you can trust them, if you have already met them, and therefore the professional development workshops are quite interesting because when you have met the people that you are going to work with, it helps. It's well, it's nice to work with people that you can trust, that you already know, and that's what we have in DLab, for example, in our big project. We have been working together for several years, and it's really, well, very nice. We can trust on each other. If something goes wrong, or if somebody has forgotten something, we can just arrange it, and we can trust each other. So that's very nice. Um, okay, so
Excellent.
that's what I can
There
answer
was
to
a
your
question
question.
while you were speaking. I didn't want to interrupt you, but there was a question. You mentioned the tool when you talked about the Project D-Lab, and we missed that tool. Barbara actually asked about it, and we didn't understood the name of the of the tool. So if you could say it again, that would be most helpful.
Yeah, I think it. I
Ah,
was talking about TweetBeam. TweetBeam. So it's tweets like from Twitter, the tweets from Twitter, and then Beam is
okay.
BEAM.
Yes,
Maybe
please.
I
Thank you so
maybe I
much.
can type it.
And
Yes.
maybe now we can give the floor to Sabine. Sabine, it's very nice to have you here with us. Let me give you the microphone. Enable microphone. So Sabine, you just need to activate your microphone and try to speak. I hope you manage.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes,
Yes, you can.
perfectly.
Okay. So, welcome from my side. My name is Sabine. I work at teacher education at the University of Kaiserslautern. And yes, I'm in the teacher training since 3 years, so smaller experience. And we had one project last year in the TTI with our partners in Iceland. And for us, it was quite easy to integrate it in the curriculum because at our university, media pedagogy or ICT literacy is part of the standard curriculum. So we just had to imagine what we want to do and create a project with our partners. And we started one seminar for bachelor students about the topic of
I think we lost you, Sabine. I cannot hear you. Is it only me? Or Frederick, could you hear? Can you hear?
I can't hear
Sabine,
Sabine
maybe you
either.
deactivate and activate again the microphone, maybe. Sorry.
hello, sorry, can you hear? Okay, sorry, I was disconnected, I think.
Okay.
I just said we had one project about the topic of digital citizenship, and we had it. We had 14 sessions. Some of them were online. Some of them in the university, and maybe I can give one advice at this point because you asked about what is important. For us, we learned that the first initiative or the first um,
And we lost you again, Sabine. Let's just give Sabine a few seconds to connect again. I'm very. Oh, is she coming again? No. Yeah.
She's typing something.
Sabine, if you cannot connect your microphone, you can you can maybe type the most important thing that you were going to tell us. Well, while Sabine is typing, I don't know if you have any questions either for Sabine or for Frederick. Please also feel free to type those questions on the chat. So Fatih is asking if I suppose that the question is for both. If you use the TTI group, if the answer is yes, how did you find it? If it was user friendly for you?
Yeah, well, to answer that question, in 2015, I also attended a TTI online seminar. And from that seminar, one of the projects started. So it's also the online seminars are also a way to meet each other and to start projects.
Okay, thank you. So if you work on the projects with students in class, how much time do you devote to it? How many sessions? Is Magda asking. Magda from Poland.
Well, there is not really a strict timing or a real planning for this yet. Maybe I should do that, but I haven't done this yet. But I just do it when I feel as like I'm teaching something in geography, and then we have some time left, or that there's something a topic that is really relevant in connection with the project. For example, we are using a digital tool like Socrative or Kahoot, then we can, I say to my students, well, let's share it with our Danish students. Let's share it on the eTwinning platform. And then we go to the eTwinning website and we start to work with eTwinning. So it's not really planned. It's just like how when I feel doing it, I do it during my lessons. And sometimes I say to my students when we don't have time to develop it or to work on it further on, I say, okay, the rest you do at home. But I make sure that I give it attention in the lesson. That's important. That you mention it regularly. That
Mm-hmm.
that is it's being kept alive.
Okay,
That
so
is the
you
most
are more
important thing.
into, because the introduction of eTwinning in the curricula can be just an introduction as an option, a way to
Mhm.
work, an approach, a tool, whatever you want to call it. And I know that some TTIs just do this introduction and that's it. But you are saying actually something different, that it's important to keep it alive along the year. It's important to integrate it with the other activities that you do, with the whole schedule mainly, but it doesn't need to be in a very strict way, but it should be kept alive along the year. That's what you're saying, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We also have had some promotion materials from our national agency, and we have put it also on the
Mm-hmm.
walls in our school. So it's also visible. You can make eTwinning visible because in our national agency has made some
Mm-hmm.
very nice posters, and these are all things, small things that can help to make eTwinning alive, to make it
Mm-hmm.
visible in your teacher
Thank you.
training.
Magda is also saying that she uses a lot of promotional materials as well. Well, for that, you can always ask for
Hmm.
support for your National Support Service or PSA. They can support you with giving you materials on your own language. So you may contact them for that. That's why it's so important. And it's why I mentioned in the beginning that there must be a commitment between you and your National Support Service or PSA. But Magda is also asking, how detailed is your plan? As far as I understand, you don't have a very much detailed plan, do you, Frederick?
Well, for the small projects, it is not very detailed in the beginning because we just we see how it goes, how it evolves, and I'm lucky to work together with UCN, our partners from Denmark, which are also involved in DLab. But the DLab project is on the other hand, is very detailed and planned. But this is a big project I have been involved in
Mm-hmm.
from 2016 onwards. So this is very detailed. So we have really have a plan, and there are online meetings, there are meetings abroad in the different countries, and eTwinning is part of it. But maybe I should plan my small projects more. Maybe that's something I will have to do that I have to do. But it's also a challenge to find the time for that because I'm busy with a lot of things. I'm
Mm-hmm.
also international coordinator, as you know. Um, but for the national e-training project, I
Mm-hmm.
was talking about the sharing of the teaching experiences. That was quite a detailed project as well. And then I worked together with one of my colleagues, and we were quite a good team also in planning, and that was quite well planned, I must say. And to
Mm-hmm.
add something to this, it is important, I think, to involve your colleagues in eTwinning in your teacher education. Because if you have to do it
Yeah.
all on your own, it is impossible. So you have to try to really get eTwinning
Mm-hmm.
alive in the team. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so and that may take some time.
That's a very interesting suggestion, Frederick. I'm not sure if all of you managed to be in the last workshop that we had in Brussels in May, but we had some discussions at the end of the workshop, and that was one of the major comments that came out of the discussions, that there needs the ideal is to have a team that works together and not working alone. So it's a very important one. Yes. So let me
Mm.
just read what Zabina shared. Our learning for a collaboration was that working time delayed can be difficult in the beginning. Our students missed the personal contact, and for that, they felt very shy to write in the forum. We had a quite detailed plan at the beginning and were ready to change it during the project. So being open for adaptation is necessary. Yes, indeed, Sabine. But without a plan, we couldn't have made the collaboration. Time was one of our biggest challenges. Yes, team building is also crucial, Magda. Yes. Thank you, Sabine, for sharing these thoughts with us. Yes, I understand that the time constraint may be uh, the biggest challenge or one of the biggest challenges. But when you manage to do like Frederick was just explaining, embedded in all your activities, it becomes easier, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. If you can embed eTwinning in the things that you already do in your teacher education, like if you have modules with project work and you can integrate eTwinning in it, I think it's a good idea instead of
Hmm.
doing eTwinning projects on top of the curriculum. Because the students they sometimes have periods where they are very busy, and if they have to do eTwinning on top something else again, then it may be
Yeah,
a constraint.
that's true. More questions. We still have some minutes. We can take a few more questions. Someone is typing. And I'm very happy that we managed to have this conversation. I really wanted not a very formal seminar. I just wanted a conversation among ourselves, among practitioners. And I think we managed to have that conversation. Thank you so much, Sabine, Magda, all the ones that contributed to the chat. But we still have a few minutes for more questions and more comments. We are here for you. Okay, one more question. How did you encourage pre-service teachers to share their first teaching experiences? Could you please give more details regarding it, Frederick?
I think it was interesting for them to share it, and they also felt that interested because they got feedback from fellow students and not from teacher trainers. So it was nice to see that collaboration, that exchange that was going on between the students. Actually, it was a kind of
Mm.
peer support, peer evaluation, and that was it was a quite interesting topic because they faced the same challenges, and sometimes students can help each other more than or quicker than we can.
Excellent. Um, Erden is saying that he's quite new and is trying to introduce eTwinning into his curricula, but that his students have some difficulty in preparing projects. And Sabine is also asking you, Frederick, how did you find your enthusiastic teacher inside eTwinning?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, our National Support Service has a list of teachers who do eTwinning projects. And I asked our National Support Service in our secondary schools in Flanders who is busy with eTwinning, who has experience with eTwinning. Are there projects who have got quality labels, who won prizes? So I got that
Mm-hmm.
information from our National Support Service. So and then they gave me some names, and I contacted them, and so that's the
Very
way
good.
how it went.
And the way is always through your National Support Service and PSA, because they either have these great teachers that already won a prize or have quality labels, like Frederick is saying, but they also have ambassadors. The ambassadors, the network of ambassadors, work differently in different countries, but they may cover certain regions. May cover certain local areas, so it's definitely a way to do this is to contact your National Support Service and try to find active and enthusiastic trainers that can support you at some point, that can help you, that maybe can come to your institution and share the experience one time. Just brainstorming, but it can be done. But definitely the way is through your National Support Service.
Yeah, and of course, in the network of schools where your students do their traineeship, there may be teachers who are busy with eTwinning that you get to know um, without contacting the National Support Service. That's also possible. That you know teachers personally who have been involved in eTwinning. But I think it's very, very interesting to invite these teachers to your teacher education and let them share their experience to the students. So that's something we are really planning to do in the future, to invite teachers to come to tell our students what they have been doing.
That's excellent. And thank you, Lucy, for your comment on the chat. Excellent. Do we have more questions, more comments? If not, while Sabine is typing, I must say that there is a forum dedicated to this topic in the TTI group. So I encourage you to go there, share your experiences, share your questions, share your challenges, share your concerns. And also, if you have actually the answer for someone else, please feel free to interact there. Okay, there is a dedicated forum for that. In any case, when I share the recording of this session in the group, I will directly link it to that forum so we can continue this discussion in the forum. Okay, do you think this is a good idea? Yes, excellent. Well, if there are no further questions, well, I have a hand raised. Turan, do you have a microphone, Turan? If yes, it will be the last question that we will take. Try. Well, apparently it's not working. Well, if we have no further questions, I would like, first of all, to again thank you so much, Frederick, for being here with us today. It was very, very interesting conversation. It was a very inspiring session, I think. At least it was for me. And I hope it was for everyone that was here today. I will close this session, and I'll thank you all for your active involvement in this session. And I hope to see you soon. Please don't forget to complete the survey, the evaluation survey that is on the chat. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Thank you, Frederick, once more.
Yeah. Thank you
My
from my
pleasure.
side as well. It was a pleasure.
Bye bye.
Good
Have a lovely
evening. Bye bye.